Hey everybody, um, welcome back to Real Deal Money Talks. I'm your host Jermaine Cologne. Change your scenery this time around for this episode. I want to thank you first and foremost for coming back for another video about financial literacy. Thank you so much for the patience in between. As many of you know, I am dealing with stage 5 kidney disease, so some days are harder than others, and while shooting a video doesn't seem very taxing, the post editing and all of this stuff, it can be quite taxing on me at times. So I appreciate you staying with me as I had to recuperate myself um, over my illness. But that being said, and that being on the table, you know, we're back. We're back for another week. We're back for another episode. Um, for those of you that are just coming to the channel, just coming to this series, basically the goal of this series is to educate black, brown, anybody that really wants to learn about finances, wants to learn about banking, um, wants to help break generational financial curses, because unfortunately there is a disparaging difference between what certain communities know and what other communities know. And this is why you've seen some communities in America flourish, and this is why you've seen some go the way that they have with being in poverty, not being able to be homeowners, things like this. So I felt it my responsibility, I felt it important, being with the experience I have of almost 13 years, really almost 15 years, let's be honest, 15 years of banking experience, bank manager. And like I've told you guys before, I've done everything when it comes to banking. I have literally worked from the bottom to the top. I'm the definition of the Drake song. Started at the bottom, now we're here. So currently I am working with a institution. I'm not going to mention the institution because I'm not representing that institution as I do these videos. I'm doing these videos one off, really to give knowledge and, some ground based information that you can use to protect yourself, educate yourself. So before we start, I actually want to, I'm really, really thankful because we got our first sponsor, which is amazing. And you guys will probably see the logo pop up in a minute in the video. But our sponsor for this video is CC's Body Treats. And I want to tell you that this young lady has an amazing line of hand done shea butters, massage oils, facial masks. She has a great product line. It's made with heart. She has a website. I'm going to put the link to the website in the description. I'm also going to, you guys, like I said, you guys will see the logo come up in the video. You won't see this handsome face too much longer, but what I want you guys to do for me, those of you that watch this video, is please, check out her website. It will be in the description. If you can't use the information, like I tell you with the information I present you, if you can't use it, share it with somebody that can. In our community of being minority in America, being African American, there's not a lot of products sometimes geared for us that are good for us, and wintertime, we can get a little bit on the ashy side. So, these shea butters will help that. If you need a relaxing massage oil, she has that covered, and they have great, amazing scents, not these strong, perfumey stuff that you get out of like Walmarts and Targets. These are things that are going to be really soothing to your body, soothing to your spirit, soothing to your nose. So make sure that you go out and you support CC's Body Treats today, tomorrow, and the next day, and make sure to give her some support. That's a black-owned business, and we want to see her prosper. We want to see her flourish. Okay, we want one day to be able to go into Target or Whole Foods or somewhere like that and see her products in there flying off the shelves, okay? But let's get back to the matter at hand. So today I figured we move on because we've talked about kind of like the groundworks of banking. We talked about, what you should and shouldn't look for. Today I want to talk about saving and budgeting because that seems to be I don't want to say hindrance because nothing hinders my people. Nothing hinders us. But what I will say is we have difficulty in being productive with our saving. We save, but we don't save productively. We don't save when compared to our counterparts. So let's start with number one. Number one, we go to work sometimes 40, 50, 60 hours a week, depending on your position. Whether you're a chef, you're a nurse, you're a teacher, whatever your position is, you're going to work. We spend so much time going to work, and when we get our paycheck, the first thing we do is we pay everybody else. We pay our mortgage, we pay our card note, and that's great that we do that. And there'll be a video later down the line that talks about why that's important as compared to your credit. But the other thing you need to remember is this, okay? You need to pay yourself first. And that is a key idea that we as African Americans, Latinos, have to start doing because our Asian American counterparts and our Caucasian counterparts and our Arab counterparts, no matter what the situation is, they pay themselves first. And once they're paid, they pay all those expenses. So let's just say, for example's sake, that you earn $1,500 every 2 weeks, okay? Your bills and your finances come up to maybe like $1,100. I'm being a little aggressive with my math, but let's just say that's the case. You have $400 left over. So before any of that $1,100 goes to one of those debitors, you need to take something out of that $400 and put it into an interest bearing savings account. You need to put that into an interest bearing money market account, or you need to be opening up a CD account. Okay? So, what I'm going to say to you is that if what you need to do is you need to sit down, look at your paycheck. Some of us are salary, some of us are not, but we kind of make around the same thing every couple of weeks. Make sure that you're looking at your money and calculating how much you can put away. And what you need to do and what you should want to do is set up some type of automatic transfer. So basically what that's going to do is when you get paid, the bank, the credit union, whatever it is, and we talked about them before, they're going to go into that account and they're going to say, hey, you've decided you want us to go in and take $50 of this $1,500 and put it into your savings account. It's going to be moved for you. You're not going to have to transfer. You're not going to have to do anything. Everything is going to be handled for you. And the reason I want you guys to do that is because when you are not the one that has to put the money into the account, it makes it so much easier for you to build the growth of that account. Because ultimately, with a savings account, the interest is more viable with the more money you have in the account. Okay, so if I have $50 in the account, and when I get my interest payment, it's not going to be that aggressive. It's not going to be that impressive to me. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to maybe be, let's say, maybe 1 penny I might get depending on the institution. But if I have saved up $5,000, that same $5,000 getting that same interest payment may now get me $10 as opposed to a penny. So these are things you have to look at. I'm just going to take me into number two. Number two is you need to comparison shop. Now, this is something that we drastically need to improve in the African American community because we kind of get roped into a lot of bad deals. And what I mean by that is you go into a bank, you go to open up a checking account, and they're like, hey, we'll give you a free savings account. And because they say it's free for whatever reason, you take it. The problem with that is what our Asian, what our Caucasian, what our Arab counterparts do, they comparison shop whether it's free or not. They're not going to put money into something that truly isn't going to benefit them. So if I have Bank A saying that they're going to offer me 0.001% interest rate, but it's a free account, and I have Bank B down the street that is not a free account, I may have a monthly service charge if I don't meet minimum requirements, but at the same time, they're a higher yield interest account and they may give me 1% or 2%, whether it's a promotional deal or not. As an African American, as a Latino in this country, you need to be taking that money down to Bank B and being a comparative shopper and getting the best deal for where you want to put your money. We talked about the rule of 70 last time that you guys were on a video with me. So I want you guys to really think about and really be proactive in going out and researching. And sometimes that's going to mean you're not going to be able to have a brick and mortar location where your savings account is. You may have to do an online bank. You may have to do, a special promotional bank or a credit union or a community bank, a smaller institution. But it's important to take the time to do that. We have the access to the internet. Make sure you guys go on and Google rates. There are plenty of sites that will show you what the rates are in your area where you are and show you what the highest are, show you where the lowest are. And if you're with one of the banks that's the lowest, you need to pull that money and find out the qualifications to get to a higher one. And I want you guys to understand that it doesn't always mean you have to have $10,000 to start off with. It doesn't always mean you have to have accounts with X amount of money in there. A lot of these banks do promotions. I was with a couple of banks where we were doing promotions at a time when the average interest rate was 0.002%. And my bank was doing a 2% flat rate. And we did that rate for almost a year. So imagine the growth your account would have had if you had $1,000 in a bank that was giving you a 2% interest rate as opposed to 0.002. So again, be a comparative shopper and be smart with your money. Okay, that's very important. That's going to take us to number 3, and that's budgeting. So I talked a little earlier in the video about how you should be able to look at your money coming in and really sit down and have a budget. But you need to understand, are you going to have an aggressive budget or are you going to have a passive budget? And there is a difference. If you're going to have a passive budget, basically what that means is you're doing the bare minimum. And what that means is you're paying your bills, but you're paying maybe the minimum payments on your bills. You're saving, but you're saving what is the minimum amount you can do. Yes, you are achieving a goal, but it's going to take you longer to achieve that goal because you have to be passive. And that can be for a number of reasons. That can be due to finances. It could be, you could be going through a tough time right now. You may have something medically coming up. You may have a large purchase coming up. But you need to look at that and be prepared that, I may want to achieve goal A, but I can't because I'm being passive in my savings. Now let's go to aggressive. Aggressive means you're doing the absolute most you can do. You don't really care about not having the most money in your pocket right now. You're more concerned with building up a substantial and domineering savings account. Now, what I have seen with a lot of millennials going into my leave from work for my medical issues is that a lot of millennials are being aggressive with their savings. So their 401k, they have a high rate of deposit in there. With their savings account, they're aggressively looking for high interest yield savings accounts. In addition, they're also putting in the most that they can into those savings accounts. So again, let's take that $1,500 and say they're going to say, okay, I'm going to have $500 available after I pay everything. I'm going to put in $300. Now, some of us, we can't afford that, or we can't do that. And what I'm saying to you is you have to budget before you save. And this is why I say to you, look at what you're making prior to starting these savings accounts, because a lot of times we get into situations where our best felt goal is to put in as much as we can, but life happens. And I try to give you guys advice with the understanding that life happens, and you're not always going to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Unfortunately, with your finances, there's so many things that can come into play. But with the budgeting, the best thing to do is to write your budget down. Don't just sit there and say, oh, I have it in my head, because you'll always forget something. So try to write your budget down and stick to it. You want to post it somewhere where you look at it, and you have to look at it every day. So my suggestion is put it on a fridge. If you have room on your dresser, if you have a mirror on your dresser in your bedroom, put it on your mirror in your bedroom. So that way, every day you wake up and you're preparing for work, you're coming home, you're doing your routine, coming home from work, you can look at that budget and say, okay, this is what I have to do. And it's going to become a thing where it gets instilled. It takes 21 days to create a habit. So the more you see that budget, the more you see that goals that you're setting for yourself, is easier it's going to be for you to reach that goal. And I really want us to be better prepared with having a savings, because the average American should have a savings of up to 3 months savings. I personally say you should have up to about 6 months, just in case, because unfortunately, with us as African Americans, we have found, with Latinos, we have found that we are in position sometime where we lose our job, or we have medical issues, whatever the case may be. And while the goal may be we want it to be 3 months, society may not work with us, and we may have a longer wait to get that position. May have a longer wait to recover from that procedure or that surgery. So you want to make sure that you are preparing yourself and your family, and you have that cushion just in case, because we see it every day. People are losing their homes, people are losing their cars, especially in a pandemic. It's getting even worse. So you need to have that bumper. You need to have that available so you can protect yourself, protect your family. So, with that being said, like how I roll, I like to keep the videos under 20 minutes. So, we're not going to go too much longer. I just want to again thank you all for joining us again this week. I want to thank you for, listening to my insight on banking and finance. One thing I will say to you is you go to a doctor. A lot of us, we may have questions for the doctor. We may not agree with what the doctor says, but we take his opinion at heart because we know that he's went to school, he's had the training, and he has the knowledge to give us information on our health. Listen to people that have the financial knowledge. Listen to people that have been in these shoes, because a lot of times I think what it is, people think we're trying to tell you what to do, and it's not. We've seen so many people like you in that situation that we're trying to protect you. We're trying to make sure you get the best out of things. So this is why I'm taking my platform. This is why I'm taking what I know and sharing it with you. And again, remember, I'm going to tell you things that the normal banker, that the normal bank manager will not tell you. I'm telling you the nitty gritty that needs to happen. And with that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining another Real Deal Money Talks. Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming back. There'll be a new video up probably within the next 2 weeks, so come back and check that out. Again, if you want to sponsor a video, definitely hit me up. You guys know my email, jermainelcologne@gmail.com. So if you want to sponsor, definitely let me know. Send me a message and we can discuss sponsorship. But again, thank you to our current sponsor for this episode, CC's Body Treats. And again, make sure that you are going to her link in the description. Make sure you support her business. And again, I am Jermaine Cologne, and I will see you guys on the next Real Deal Money Talk.